Welcome to the weekend, everybody, and to get us into the weekend in style, I thought I would review something a little bit different as far as Transformers go. Something from a toy line that had all of, well, 2 releases. 3, technically, if you count them as separate figures, but why would you? This is Music Label. In fact, this is Music Label's Soundwave. You're taking a look at the Sonic Blue version, which of course replicates his original G1 color scheme. Now, these were very interesting. There was this weird period where label figures were kind of a thing for Takara to make. They were stupidly expensive for what they were, and they were all very limited and much more expensive than devices of similar function, and in fact, even of superior function, which we'll find out now. But first, we'll look at it for what it is. As you can see, he's replicating his original tape deck mode, tape recorder, whatever you pretended it was as a kid. Yes, I know it's a recorder. But most people don't even know what recorders are. Most people watching this never grew up with a tape recorder. But trust me, he's a tape recorder, or at least he's mimicking one. It's very close to his G1 look, maybe a little bit more squarish, not quite as rectangular. Of course, I don't have one on. I don't have a G1 Soundwave like right here or anything, so I got one, just not like on hand to compare. But nevertheless, like he looks quite a bit like his original. We have replaced his chrome buttons in the front with your traditional rewind, fast forward, all that, with more modern MP3 player style buttons. Here you go. Back song, forward song, volume down, volume up, pause and play. Very basic functions. There's no playlist, and it just plays it in whatever MP3 order there is, in any alphabetical order. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fully working MP3 player. In fact, there's a little spring to open up the door, just so you can insert a mini SD card and play all your favorite songs through an actual working Soundwave toy, which is like so cool, and it really works. Like, seriously, check it out. Oh yeah. Why, yes, I will put the lime in the coconut and drink it all up. But here, yeah, of course, it's a little bit hard to demonstrate on camera, but trust me, it does work as an MP3 player. Your phone's just a heck of a lot better than this thing is, because, well, this is extraordinarily limited in function. But what it is pretty nice just as it is. Here's something I really like. Very clean all the way around. You really have to flip it up just to see that there are some robot bits that we will see when we transform it. But other than that, it's very solid. Like, I could completely imagine that these panel lines are from just actual assembly of the recorder slash MP3 player, whatever you want it to be. It's actually quite well designed, considering it's designed to be, you know, an actual music player. So that's really not the main appeal. The main appeal is the fact that it not only plays your favorite songs, it also transforms. It's fully working. So let's go ahead and we will transform this guy into full robot mode. We will start by folding these out, and then we'll get these hands out of the way. Well, rather the arms, I should say. They peg in, so right there. So you get those out of the way. Now the legs have to rotate forward, so we will rotate them down. And it's a weird kind of like, this piece used a panel kind of sticks, so you have to fold it backwards and then you can fold it down. So back, rotate, and then fold down. There we go. There are heel spurs to fold out, so he can actually stand balanced, as well as actual feet here in the front. All nicely painted, which we'll take a closer look at soon. Rotate. These shoulders not only rotate, they slide upward to kind of give you a little bit more of a appropriate angle to look at. Fold the wrists down, make sure the elbow is facing forward, or else you look like a doof when trying to get him transformed. And then for a little bit of action feature, spring up head. It's an epic head reveal. So, that is our device label Soundwave in robot mode, and I will adjust the camera just a little bit. There we go. And he looks quite good. Like, that is undeniably G1 Soundwave. It's a very nice representation. Some of the details a little bit thinner just because of the nature of what it is. But hey, it actually works quite well and looks quite good. Let's take a look. We'll take a closer look at the head, as we were prone to do. Now you can see the Decepticon symbol up front, tampergraphed on, and of course it does look very similar to Soundwave's head, because that's where they originally based it on. The head is very angular. There's a lot of sharp lines to it. It looks quite cool, and he looks appropriately mean for Soundwave. So that's all well and good. Now, he does reveal some new elements and some new molding. You can see here in the shoulders and as well as in the arms, a few little panel lines. No heavy detailing, but enough to make it look a little bit more interesting and keep him from looking flat, and that's all good. Everything else, I will admit, is kind of plain. As you can see, the legs are mostly just comprised of the outside of the actual MP3 player. And you've got some molding on the inside to keep it a little bit more interesting and give him some definition, as well as a little bit more of a robot presence. Now, if you want a little bit more playability to him, we can do that. In fact, this actually had an interesting feature for any Transformer toy, really, as I quickly gather the parts. Boom. Interchangeable hands. How about that? Like, when's the last time you saw a Transformer with those? Now, he's defaulted to his fists. However, he does have some interesting alternatives. Here, we'll pop that hand off. And we'll pop in, let's see, yeah, this is the right one. Hang on. Pop in. We will pop in. We will pop in. We will pop in. And this, and you'll notice this hand has a extra long finger attached to it, which of course can loop up, and we can, boom, right there, ready to summon Ravage, or Ratbat, or Laserbeak, but never Buzzsaw. We don't summon Buzzsaw. We don't even talk about Buzzsaw. That's how much he doesn't use Buzzsaw. So yeah, that's actually a really cool touch, and since there's really no point to opening him up in this mode, unless you want to play music in this mode, or, hey, hook up speakers and play actual Soundwave audio clips from the G1 cartoon if you want to be like really creepy with this toy. But it's a nice little touch and lets you mimic one of his most famous stances. And if we want to go a little bit farther, he does also have hands for holding his weapon. And yeah, of course he has his weapon. It's a Transformer. Why wouldn't he? Now they are just like the original. Here's his shoulder rockets, or whatever. I can't even remember what this was in the G1 cartoon. It plugs right in where... there we go. Where the headphones jack goes. Which I thought was a nice little touch. A little bit of dual use. It's very clever that way. And there... we also have his gun. Now, of course, they don't form batteries here. They're just solid pieces. Though they did take the extra detail of actually writing some of the originals. Wave Bluster. Oh, it's Soundwave. I don't really associate him with Bluster. Oh, look. They conveniently labeled it. It's an electric launcher. I've always wanted an electric launcher. I guess that would be appropriate since it's supposed to be a battery. Of course, these don't store inside him like they do in the G1 toy because, hey, this one actually has a battery compartment. Ah, well. So you go. There you go. Much more Soundwavy this way. Proper weapon, proper armaments, and that's very cool. Now, for posability, as you've already seen, he's quite decked out. His neck is ball-jointed, so he does have a lot of range there. Shoulders, universal, with a ball joint up here for good measure, so you can rotate him above the bicep. The elbow not only has a 90-degree bend, there's also a ball joint here, so you can also rotate his arm below the elbow. No waist articulation due to his transformation. Kind of weird hips. They are universal, and they are actually ratcheted, but because of that extra little panel to get his MP3 player mode to look solid, he does have some limitations in what he can do, but he does also have a rotation above the knee, as well as the 90-degree bend. And the toes do fold down a little bit farther if you need to adjust them for balance. So, all in all, he does have a nice range of posability. Quite a bit more than a standard Transformer, actually. So yeah, he was quite expensive when released, but at least you had that. Get some extra fists, you get all his weapons, and you get a cool MP3 player that really isn't as cool as the MP3 player you actually own. And here was the really nice part about him, and I'll get him into a more neutral stance for this, just so he looks correct. He's actually deluxe sized. Here, I'll actually show you. He sizes exceptionally well with the rest of the Classics line. A little bit taller than some of them, but this is why I was never upset over not getting a Classic Soundwave. I had mine already, you know? This served quite well. I actually do display him with my Classics toys. And he fits right in, so it's extremely cool for that. Now, of course, this thing did go for like crazy money back in the day, and since this is the G1 color version, this one does go for quite a bit more than it really should. It is a great toy if you just want a Soundwave, but it is expensive as just a Soundwave toy. If you like the MP3 player function, it's good for a laugh if you bring it to the office or anywhere where you might have some geek friends that would recognize it and get a kick out of hearing the G1 theme song come out of a G1 Transformer. So, yeah, it's more of a novelty, unfortunately. And an extremely expensive novelty at that. But it does make a really good action figure, a really good Transformer toy in general. So, yeah, all in all, I recommend it. If you can actually find it and, not have to take out a mortgage to get it. But he serves his purpose in the world. And the purpose is definitely not as an MP3 player.